My strategy really doesn't change, right? And I don't want to give you guys too much stuff where you get analysis paralysis. You're like, I don't know whether I'm supposed to be doing A or B. Really, with my system, you guys know that what we should be doing, we should be looking for fib levels, ABCDs, trend, higher lows and higher highs, or lower lows and lower highs. Stop loss placements, we should be placing those when you find that higher high, or I mean higher low or lower high, your stop loss is going in reference to that point. So if we have a move where we believe this trend was moving up, say here on GBP NZD daily chart, here was your first higher low. So if you purchased anywhere in here and put your stop here, you were good. If you didn't recognize it here at this point, well, it gave you another opportunity when it created this higher low here. Notice this trend. Each successive higher low is not being taken out. That's why that is one of my most important videos that I like for you guys to watch. You can make money just recognizing that as a trend within itself. Okay, so that part, make sure you are paying full attention to those higher lows and higher highs, or lower lows and lower highs. All right, now another concept that's really helped some traders, and I really want everybody in the group to watch this. This over here, I have this as my watch list for a reason. And the reason why I tell you guys to line them up in the same way that I line them up is because this is where I recognize strength and weakness from. And you can just do it by recognizing colors. If you notice today, today is Memorial Day. Yes, I'm in the office, I'm working, I'm always putting in 100% work to make you guys successful. Everything on Euro is red. And I can just go across the board. Euro GBP, Euro Aussie, Euro USD, Euro JPY, Euro New Zealand, Euro CAD. Well, which one is Euro down most against? Euro's down most against New Zealand and GBP. So possibly I'm already maybe making a note of that, mental note. Those two may be really strong. Well, if I look at GBP, GBP across the board is up against everything. It's up against USD, up against JPY, up against CAD. It's up against NZD, which NZD is crushing Euro. So right away, I have a reference point to say, look, pound is stronger, Euro's weak against everything, pound is strong against everything, and is strong against the New Zealand, which was strong. So possibly this pound looks very strong today. Okay, so that's in reference to today. Let's go down the line. USD is flat against JPY, and it's up against the Swiss franc, right? So it gives you another point of reference. Aussie down against the CAD, down against the New Zealand, down against JPY. So once again, New Zealand's beating Aussie, Euro's beating New Zealand. New Zealand's beating Aussie, New Zealand's beating Euro, but it's not beating GBP. Well, even look over here. NZD is beating USD. So we got two strong pairs. We got New Zealand strong and the pound strong. But out of all of that, the pound is stronger than the New Zealand. That's basically what I'm seeing just from looking at my watch list here. Now, how would I formulate a trade based around that? I would basically go and I'm saying, look, I'm not going to trade the pound New Zealand because they're both strong. So that'll possibly leave me at a stalemate, something that's going to go sideways for the day. I don't want that. I want to say, well, I want the pound against the weakest one. Who's the weakest link? So far, I haven't really found the weakest link, but it looks to be Euro. So I might trade Euro pound is what I might look at as a pair that might be of interest to me today. And I might, well, let me go to the Euro pound chart and see what's been going on there, right? Well, so far we can see Euro pound, it's in an uptrend, all right? We definitely can see that. This is the daily chart. We're above the 100 moving average. We're above the 8 moving average. We're above the 20 moving average. So definitely signifies an uptrend. You can see today we gapped down and we're still pushing lower. We're completely overbought, but like I told you guys, in an uptrend, we don't really pay attention to overbought, right? But intraday trade, you can possibly say, let me zoom in. Let's see what's going on the 4-hour chart. We just closed below the 8, still in an uptrend, right? Higher low, higher low. Go down to the 1 hour. 1 hour chart, we're breaking down just a little bit, but I'm not going to trade this, right? Because it continuously making higher lows and higher highs. Here's my previous higher low. Here's my previous higher low. So we're going to possibly come down and make a higher low. And plus, we're already close to over sold territory in the uptrend. So even though the pound might be looking strong right now against this, it's not showing me enough where I want to be like, I'm going to take a trade. I'm super excited about this. If I'm going to take a trade, it might be a swing. And I would look to see where I'm at relative to every other price. So I'm close to this top. If I'm going to take a shot, I'd like to see the market come up to this resistance point. That puts the odds more in my favor to formulate a good trade. To say, hey, it's been resistance once, twice, 3 times a lady, right? So that would possibly be the only look I would look at. The 100 moving average on this daily chart is really flat. So we're in a sideways market. So don't see anything I really like there. All right, so let's go back, because I did see something that I like. Not trading today, but pound New Zealand, right? We had a nice move. This was a nice smooth uptrend, right? And we went consolidation. And this is what I got to show you guys, that make sure you're consistently drawing your lines in. When you're a trader, you're also an artist. You always want to make sure you got your lines in and be aware of what's going on. So whenever this got up here and they kept forming these pins to these wicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, it kept doing that, I automatically drew a line there, right? And then I also drew a line up here at my resistance points, right? And what that gave me was, it said, hey, this is currently, we're trading inside of this box. If I can find the box. There we go. Inside. We were trading inside of this box here. And I told my partner, I said, hey, listen, if we break this box, either way it breaks. And this goes to a question that one of the students asked me. He said, what do you mean by a break? Well, when the market forms these support and resistance levels, you're going to get momentum to one way or the other, but just go with the direction that it breaks. So my whole trading plan when I was watching this was, hey, whenever it breaks this box and closes outside of it, I'm going to enter this trade. And I'm going to put my stop loss on the other end of this box, right? Now you just use proper risk management. I'm going to enter here, so I would have entered right here on this day. If you notice, it closed below the 8, closed below the 20, they both crossed. Close below the box, I'm in. I might put my stop just above that high of that day, right? But I'm in that trade because it's part of my business plan. So from that point on, that was at 185.94 would have been your entry, close to around there, right? Right now we're trading at 181. That's 400 pips to the downside. And it was part of my plan. Draw out your plan, say, look, this is how much money I'm going to risk on this trade. If it comes up here and stops me out, perfectly fine, because I'm pretty sure if you do this 10 times, the 6 or 4 times that it works will more than pay you for the 4 or 5 times that it doesn't work. But you have to be consistent in your methods. Don't just keep jumping around with different methods because one strategy didn't work for you one particular time. You're like, hey, I'm going to try something else. That's not a business plan. McDonald's comes in and they sell burgers every single day, right? If they put out a McRib and it doesn't work, they say, all right, we'll scratch the McRib. We're going to go back to selling burgers. These are your selling burgers. So make sure you do your artistry on your charts, right? Drew up my box, said, hey, if it breaks, I'm in. Cool. It broke. Plenty of pips to the downside. I was in Euro New Zealand, and I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple weeks ago, I said, hey, look, we're shorting Euro New Zealand right in this area here. We shorted, the market went down, didn't quite break. I said, hey, there's 200 to 300 pips possible. The market didn't break the level. We were early, right? But look what it did. This is what I mean by paying attention. I did not abandon that trade just because it didn't work right then, right? I still kept an eye on that trade because my bias still remained to the downside. Even though it was an uptrend, you see this pullback move. You guys know, anytime you get a pullback, get your fib tool out and say, hey, this is where the market wants to go. This right here isn't a pullback. This is just sideways action, right? You got to recognize the pullbacks. This is a pullback. You can see it pulled down. This really just pulled sideways. This is really just what you call a bull flag. So I'll talk about this in a minute. But once I saw this pullback and push up, it's saying, hey, I really just want to go and complete my pattern at what are our levels? 127, 1618, right? Draw those in. So I actually got back in these areas here because my bias still remained to the downside because various other things that I was looking at and smaller time frames included. So I got back in these areas here, and I'm still in this trade, short at 161.27, and currently we're trading at 157. So I'm up over close to 300 to 400 pips, and I'm still believe there's more downside because we're closing below all the moving average. I want to see it get back, before I buy again, I want to see it get back down to this 100 moving average, close, and go oversold and start to bounce. That's where I'm going to probably pick this up at. But that was how I formulated that trade based on this look. Now let's say, because I really didn't trade on the daily chart, but I did mark some stuff up on this daily chart. So I looked at the 4 hour, which is my bread and butter, where I do most of my analysis, right? And let's get back to regular size. And the 4 hour chart, you can see what it did. It went to the 100. This was the move we got. We got this. No, that wasn't the move we got. This was the move we got right here. From 61, and it went down, and it bounced, right? We were going against the trend. We were making higher highs and higher lows. That's why I told you, most of the time, when the market's trending up, it's dangerous. When I say some trades I call, I'll say, hey, this trade is kind of dangerous. The reason being because we're still making higher lows and higher highs. So if you try to place your stop above this high, quite possibly you're going to get stopped out because we're going to make a higher high. So I was in here. We made good money. The market turned around, stopped a bunch of people out, and then made this real move. This would have been an ideal entry here, a break of the 100. Not only that, but like I told you, put in your artistry. We have trend line. Anytime you start seeing higher lows and higher highs, I start from this one and I pull it back. Let's pull my line back down to my previous and say, hey, I'll wait on it to break this trend line, right? If you notice, if you waited for the trend line to break, you had a much cleaner entry and you didn't have to sweat because it's no longer making higher lows and higher highs, right? So let's get rid of that. And what I meant by when I showed you guys earlier on the daily chart, I showed you there was a bull flag. If you don't know what I'm talking about, bull flag, Google bull flag, all right? It's really just an up move with a sideways correction to fool sellers, and then boom, explode. So if you follow the parameters and just drew your trend line in, right? Here's your trend line connecting these highs, and you wait for the break. You're saying, hey, look, whenever this thing breaks, I'm in. Here's your flag pole. Here's your here's your flag. And what should happen is you should get a move equal to the flagpole. Let's see if we got that. Where's my measuring tool? So this move was 1,000 pips, 45.94 to 54. Yeah, close to 800-900 pips. Well, what was the second move? Let's check that out. Let's bring this up. 151 to 162. So there you have it. Flagpole, flag, breakout, Gave you the same amount here.